Hello, my name is Adrian Parker, and today I'll be telling you a story of a time that I was able to coach a student. And personally, the student is had a huge impact on my life, but today I'll be telling you a time when that I was able to help her. So I've been mentoring the student since we first met her sophomore year, and she was also a student of mine. And so we have stayed close since then, even post graduation, as she's continuing her college career. Me and her have stayed pretty close, and I just really enjoy being able to see her grow. Back in the start of 2019 of the school year, Eleni entered my classroom, and as I do with all my students, I set up lots of one-on-one time with them, just so I can learn about them and they can learn about me. And in this exchange, she noted how passionate she was about becoming a doctor, how she wants to continue into college and be a first-generation college student like I was, and be able to help people that had immigrated to this country like she had, and help them and in a medical way. And so from the very beginning, I've always known that she wanted to be a doctor. And as time went on, I always encouraged her to keep pushing and keep looking into different avenues and pathways. And upon that conversation, she stumbled into a program, or was referenced to a program from a notable university hospital. It's called the C3 program at Schutz Medical Center, and it's an incredible program. I could talk all day about it because it does amazing things for students, but because of this, it's very, very selective, and lots of people across the state apply to this program. And so I sat down with Eleni, and we talked through, does this align with your goals? I agreed that it did, and so I really was coaching her to understand what this would mean if she got into this program. And she ultimately decided, yes, I'm going to go for it. I'm super excited about it. And so we spent the next 3 or 4 months helping her with her application and interview. And I do think this, particularly for this student, I've helped other students into this program as well, but for this student specifically, I think this goal was just right. I think that it wasn't too challenging for her, but it definitely got her out of her comfort zone because she had to do things that she typically wasn't. She was always a 4.0 student. She was in many AP classes. So I knew that it was a goal that was going to take a lot from her, but it wasn't going to be too challenging or too easy. Being able to support Eleni through this process is one of my favorite memories from being a teacher, but also I look forward to it almost every day. We checked in all the time. It was something that was top of mind for over half of the year. And so I was excited that she fully committed, and we actually got to be on this journey a little bit together. And the application is massive. The application itself requires a lot of information, both from her parents, her families, from references. So that was a huge chunk, but also that she had to go through several rounds of interviews in order to kind of be selected into the program. And so the first piece of coaching or support that I gave her during this time was her application interview. I myself have been through thousands of scholarship applications, job applications. And so it was great to be able to give her lots of knowledge and just review the different pieces of information that she was providing to these folks to really emphasize her strengths, but also to very clearly state why she wants to be a part of this program and why she deserves to be a part of that program. The second one was our motivational check-ins. I think out of everything, this is probably the most important, just because it was probably the first time in her life that she has been dedicated and committed to something long term. And so, for example, after she had submitted the application, she was super nervous and afraid that she wasn't going to get let in. And I kind of kept her spirits high and, pushed her forward and said that even if she doesn't make it, like, she will be able to have a platform. And she wrote a lot of information to use in other applications. So it's not a total loss. But she ended up getting into the actual interview stage, where my last kind of major contribution to her application journey which was the interview coaching. And this was my favorite part. I love interviewing. I love being in front of folks and being able to talk stories and ask questions. And so what we did was we sat down and I gave her probably around 6 to 8 mock interviews, partly because she was very dedicated to being successful, but I also wanted to push her to make sure that when she was being interviewed, she was comfortable saying things and presenting herself in a certain manner, and really taking it up a notch to show that she's a mature and capable young woman that is able to propel and utilize the program that she's in to the best of her abilities. Luckily, Eleni didn't run into too many obstacles during this process. She is a very thoughtful and proactive student, and so there wasn't a lot of like major pieces of roadblocks that I was concerned with. However, she had asked a fellow teacher in the school to be one of her references, one of her AP teachers. And this teacher was perfect to be one of her references because of the high level output that she's able to provide to them. And also because of just the high quality work that they have seen and the experiences that they've been with. So it was really crucial that this specific individual, one of the teachers, was able to submit this reference form for her. And they originally agreed to it. They were excited to do it. But as the school year got closer to the end, we all kind of as a teacher, we get kind of overwhelmed with the parent-teacher conferences, gradings, final exams coming up. And so he wasn't able to complete it in a timely manner from the time that she had originally asked. And so I really wanted to take this as an opportunity for her to follow up and build a relationship and to keep things moving along, and for her not to freak out and not to kind of worry that this was going to, everything was going to come crumbling down. And so she continued to kind of remind him and follow up, and he ended up starting the application but wasn't able to finish it quite yet. And by this time, the deadline was fast approaching. And so I had told her, like, let me talk to him. Let's see what we can do to really make sure this happens, because I didn't want one reference to kind of be the reason she wasn't able to submit an application, since she had already done all the work prior. And so reached out to this individual. Turned out they were really, really busy with grading. And so I said, hey, if I take a load of grading off of you, can you please take a couple of hours this evening to submit this reference for her? They ended up agreeing. It worked out really well. The grading for me was pretty easy, and he was able to take some dedicated time to thoughtfully fill that out for her. And she was able to submit the application on time. And at the end of all of it, she made it. She got into the program. I always believed that she could 100%, but just seeing her face and her satisfaction to see like all of the hard work that she had put into it paying off is definitely one of my favorite moments or parts of being in students' lives. And so she completed both years in her high school career on the college campus, including a mentorship program, internship program that she was paid for, which was something out of her normal kind of expectations when she was thinking about what this program would be. And even today, she's now graduated high school and she is a junior in college, still pursuing medical school and hopefully going to be a pediatrician here soon. After I've taken some time to really think and reflect on what part of my leadership really contributed to her success and to our relationship, and I believe it's the relationship building. I, at the very beginning of the year, took the time to really make sure that I understood not just Eleni's strengths and passions, but a lot of my students. And that alone allowed me to understand, okay, how can I motivate them? How can I give them feedback? What are they most interested in? And so beyond just Eleni's success story, I believe that initial kind of introduction or just building relationships and learning about the people that you're coaching and leading is so crucial, because it enables you as a leader to kind of understand how to navigate what that person wants and how to get them to give their best. And it's fun. I love learning about people's strengths. I love being able to see what passions they want to bring to the table. And once you kind of get that under your belt, leading becomes a little bit easier in some situations, if not a lot easier in a lot of situations.